All right, everybody, welcome back to Multi-Gen Collectibles YouTube channel. If you are not following, please follow the channel and maybe even head on over to Instagram and follow the Instagram page as well. If you are connecting with any of these videos, please give us a like, maybe even drop some comments and share your thoughts on all of the cards and maybe even the stories, and throw your own stories of your card collecting days, especially if you were collecting in that 80s to 90s window of time. All right, so we're gonna go back into the blue container. Let me take the lid off there. I can see into the top of the container, and we're gonna pull out this case. For those of you that remember way back in the 90s or early 80s, having cards in cases in addition to boxes was the thing to do. Today, having cards in slabs and top loaders or Zion cases and folders, that's the thing to do. All right, so if you had a case like this where the top slid right off, then you can stack the cards as far as you can here. So we're gonna jump into this set of cards, and immediately we're welcomed with something that we've seen already in a couple other videos, and that is this set of post serial cards. This is the 1994. This is the 1994 set, 30 of 30, where you have Mike Piazza, rookie card, or rookie star, I should say, probably because he won Rookie of the Year before, and this is to commemorate that. Orlando Merced, that's the name that you really didn't hear of too often, but if you followed the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1993, then you knew who that was. So this is the first set of cards that we have here, and this is the complete sealed set from Post Serial, and that's going to go with the rest of them. This is probably the 6th or 7th, maybe 8th of that year, that 1994 set that we have. Now let's get into the singles, and let's do this. Let's turn this thing over and let's take a look at what we have here. Now, something that I do want to mention is on the top of the case, right, we have a piece of tape, and this was written by my grandmother, and if you can see on camera, it says 1994 Donruss Special Edition complete set, and it says 100. So I'm guessing there's 100 cards in this special edition set. I don't know exactly which set that might be, but we're gonna find out. All right, so there's 100 cards in here, or 100 cards in this set, and now we're about to find out which cards those are. All right, so let's ride this journey together. Okay, let's see, who do we have here? Looks like we have, is this Greg Maddux? Yep, Greg Maddux. So it looks like this is the silver foil. I'm not sure what this set is. I'm gonna have to look this up because I'm interested now. So I could barely see up here at the top of the foil. It does say something about 100. I could barely see it. So I'm guessing this is a special insert edition of the Donruss set from 1994. So this is the 94 set. I don't know, man. I'm interested. Okay, so it looks like we have Maddux, and I could barely see the name. I can't even see the name. So unless I could recognize the player, I'm gonna have to turn it over each time. Dwayne Ward. Okay. So these are the 94 Donruss. They have the nice gloss on them. You can see the reflection off the card there, and you can see the reflection off the silver at the bottom. Looks like the name is on the bottom. I think this is Alan Trammell. Nope, Travis Fryman. My bad, Fryman. So we have Travis Fryman, Kevin Mitchell when he played with Cincinnati, This looks like it is Pudge Rodriguez. So we have yep, there it is. Ivan Rodriguez. We have Pudge back there. Andy Van Slyke. Not sure who this Marlins pitcher is. This is Brian Harvey. Okay. That looks like Lenny Dykstra. So there's Canseco. Larry Walker. Look at that. That's a nice card right there. Canseco when he played with the Rangers after he left Oakland. Matt Williams. Jay Buhner. Ramon Martinez. Joe Carter. Looks like we have somebody sticking to the back of Martinez. Who is that? Is that... Let's check it out. Ray Langford. All right. I remember Ray Langford. Joe Carter. Right over here. Who is this? Is this Bagwell? No. Is that Bagwell? I can't tell who that is. Man, if I don't recognize him in the photo, I'm definitely not being... Yeah, it is Bagwell. Bagwell. There's Glavine. Tom Glavine. Finley. Who's this with the Royals? Montgomery. Who's this with the Cincinnati? Oh, no. Yeah, the Reds. Jose... What is it? What does the back say? Oh, Jose Rijo. Okay. Jose Rijo. Who's this? Lou Whitaker. I thought that was Lou Whitaker. Looks like we have Ozzie Guillen. So what I'm going to show you on camera is, if you notice, I'm going to try to zoom this in as close as I can, but you have the very reflective silver foil along the bottom, and then the name is right here. So the name is really, really hard to see, and you almost have to put it at like the perfect angle, but it's very, very faint. Okay, so you have Mark Grace. Let's see, who else do we have in this? Jim Abbott. Looks like we have Roger Clemens. Somebody's sticking to Clemens. Who's that? Dean Palmer. John Olerud. Tim Salmon. Yep, Tim Salmon. Randy Johnson. Let's see. Is that Albert Bell or Joey Bell? Yep, Albert Bell. Delino DeShields. And this is interesting. It says that he was traded in November of 1993. So it has an update on that, apparently. Here you have Barry Bonds, the home run king. Benito Santiago, when he went to the Florida Marlins. Bobby Bonilla. Andres Galarraga, the big cat. Who's that? Wally Joyner. Is this Roberto Kelly? Yeah, I believe that's Roberto Kelly. Yep. Kirby Puckett. The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. Oh, Crime Dog, Fred McGriff. The Big Hurt. We're going to take that stack and bring it over here. So for those of you that may be familiar with the 1994 Donruss Special 100 card set, drop a comment, please, and let me know what this was. I'm assuming this was an insert set that Donruss had. And why 100? Which players did they determine that they were going to include? I'm going to guess maybe the All-Stars, maybe some of the potential Hall of Famers, some of the players that were notable from each team. I'm guessing that. All right. So here's the story. How did we get this case of 100 Donruss Special Edition? There's Mattingly. Looks like Greg Vaughn, Eric Karros. There he is. Sammy Sosa. This is a Sammy Sosa sighting. Dave Winfield, Hall of Famer. Mark McGwire. You know who we're looking for, right? You know who we're looking for. Orlando Merced. Darren Dalton. You know who we're looking for, and once we find that card, I will indicate, because that's who we're looking for. Andy Benes, Mike Mussina, Paul O'Neill, Juan Gonzalez, Robbie Thompson, Charlie Hayes, Barry Larkin. Who's this? Mickey Tettleton. Okay, all right. Looks like we have Brian McRae. We have a Cal Ripken Jr. sighting. Let's find out who's sticking. Mo Vaughn. There's Mo Vaughn. There's Steve Avery. Ripken Jr. There is Kenny Lofton. Will Clark. Marquise Grissom. Wade Boggs with the Yankees. How wild is that? You know, legendary Red Sox player, and then he ended up going to the Yankees and I think won a championship with them, maybe 2. Ozzie Smith, the Wizard. Here we have Ron Gant. Let's see who's sticking to Ron Gant. Ruben Sierra. I liked Ruben Sierra when he was with the Rangers. Liked him even more when he went to Oakland. That was fun to see him in an Oakland A's uniform. Let's see, Daryl Kyle. Daryl Kyle. Mark Langston. So it looks like we have some players that you can say were reliable, solid players, and then you had some perennial all-stars, and then you have a couple Hall of Famers, right? Like this player here, Jimmy Key. He was pretty well-known, reliable player for many years, but not a Hall of Famer. Dave Hollins, Knobloch, Cecil Fielder, Prince Fielder's daddy. Here we have Paul Merrow, David Justice, Paul Molitor, Robin Ventura. Let's see if we can find the one we're looking for. Where is he? Where is he? And you can hear a little bit of the sticking, right? A little bit of sticking. Kevin Brown, Jay Bell, McDowell with the goatee. We have Ricky Henderson with Toronto. That breaks my heart. He will always be forever an Oakland A's player for me. Even when he was with the Yankees, he went back to the A's. Ryan Sandberg, Doc Gooden, Dennis Eckersley. Let's see, we have Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. We have Carlos Baerga. Who's this? Burkett, right? John Burkett. Here we have Biggio. This is Curtis, right? Yeah, this is Curtis. Chad Curtis, yep. Tony Gwynn, greatest hitter of all time. Greg Jeffries. Let's see. This is Greg Olson. John Kruk. Roberto Alomar. Gary Sheffield. There he is. That's the card we're looking for. We're looking for the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. That's the card we're looking for right there. So, it's there. What number card is this? This is number 4. So it looks like we had these cards in descending order. Moises Alou, Mike Piazza, and there it is. So if you remember from another video, we actually have a copy of this card in the silver, just like that. We have another copy of this card in a slim case. So we do have a copy of this in a slim case, and then here's one more, and here's another one. So we've got 3 copies of this. These 2 were in this case, this big case. And then this looks like the career salute, but not in the foil. All right. So there's your Nolan Ryan tribute from his year that he retired. Well, there's your 100 cards. And it looks like we started with card 100 and went on our way down. Mike Piazza there may have been the year after he won Rookie of the Year. Moises Alou. And then, of course, Ken Griffey Jr. So for those of you who are wondering, what is this set of special edition silver? I want to know the same thing, but these are beautiful cards. These are beautiful cards. These are not parallels. These are not limited editions, short prints like you see now. If there's one thing that I think the collectors today of this generation are looking for. They're looking for those super short prints. They're looking for the short prints. They're looking for the relics. They're looking for all kinds of parallels to the base card. These are inserts, right? And they're just beautiful cards, man. You know, they're not different color foil. They're not 25 different variations. It's just one, but it's a beautiful insert. So great photos, simple yet beautiful foiling. And, you know, mid-90s, you started to see a shift in the cards, I guess. And unfortunately, this was my last year of collecting. So was my grandmother's. So there you have it. That is what is inside of this case. And I think the next step now is to go through these and sleeve them up. Okay, we're gonna sleeve them up, and as I've said before, all of these cards are for sale for the most part. I want to say probably 99, maybe 98 of these are for sale. If you're interested in any of these cards or all of them, please send me a comment, send me a direct message, and let's see if we can get a deal made so that you can become the rightful owner of these cards. Maybe I'll take a look at what a couple of these can grade for. Other than that, we're gonna sleeve them up and see what we can get for them. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again. I really appreciate you spending your time with me, hanging out, telling stories about the early 90s card collection hobby. And we'll see you in the next video, everybody. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.